photo op.
The OC is Tampita.
These are our ambassadors. Give them a round of applause, please. Okay, so we want to introduce you to our special guest speaker, Robert Sanchez, President and CEO of Global Tel Media, Inc. Thank you so much, everybody. Robert Sanchez is the President and Chief Executive Officer of Global Tel Media. He is a board member and trustee for Rady Children's Hospital and the Sanford Burnham Institute, UCSD Physical Sciences, and the Center for Community Solutions in San Diego. He's also been a wireless advisor to the White House and Pentagon. Look at that. Can we get Obama's phone number? Can we text him? Since 2007, and is also an aide to the Philippine Government Ways and Means Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Sanchez. Hi, there you are.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank you very much for having me here. I was told I only have 10 minutes, but I'll make it 12. I drove up from San Diego. I landed in LAX last night on PAL PR 102, so I just came in from the Philippines. I want to show you something. How many single women are out there? I know Cher is, and I know Antoinette is. This is my 21-year-old son. He stands 6'4", and the rumor is his dad is rich. So I'm taking interviews after the show to talk to you guys a little bit. So most of you have never heard of me. I don't hear of me. And the only Robert Sanchez you'll find on Google is a guy that caused a Metrolink crash while he was texting. When I show up at LAX, I'm always pulled into secondary because there are 8 pages of Robert Sanchez is wanted in Mexico for drug trafficking. In the Philippines, I'm wanted in the Philippines too, because apparently there are 5 Robert Sanchez's that are money laundering in Cavite, where I'm from. So I'm a problem. As a matter of fact, some of you might know our old president, Fidel Ramos, FVR. Fidel Ramos called me Bastos. Now to my American friends, and those that don't speak Tagalog, Bastos in the vernacular means pervert. But the president reminded me that it also means bold and courageous and irreverent. And that's what I am. I'm irreverent. So I'm going to apologize in advance of what I'm going to talk about tonight, because some of it is irreverent, but it's very factual. So, you know, what qualifies me for being up here? Well, you guessed already, I tell fun stories. Matter of fact, one fun story I'll tell you about is in 1979, when I was a sophomore in college at UC San Diego. I used to come up to Occidental College in Downey and smoke a lot of marijuana. You know who was in the dorms with me smoking marijuana from Oxy in 1979? Barry Obama. So President Barry, as I friendly call him, because I see him about twice a year, the first time I saw him after college, I had to brief him about Afghanistan. And I said, Senator Barry, good to see you again. And he made the weirdest face. He goes, how do we know each other? And I said, Oxy 79. Oh, who are mutual friends? I mentioned our friends. His face just went, That same time, CNN was taking a picture of me because I was the only non-black shaking his hand at that time. Caught that on film. So all of us that smoked pot with Barry were waiting for him after he was elected as president on that first interview without a tie on, because when they asked him, do you smoke marijuana, Mr. President? And we're going to go, you bastard, you better tell the truth. And Barry, of course, laughed and said, but I really didn't inhale. Yeah, sure. Anyways, I was born, I am a first-generation Filipino, as you can tell by my accent, right? You can tell. I was born in Cavite City in 1960. Thank you very much. That makes me 51 years old. I have no gray hairs. Thank you, my mom and dad. You know, I travel back home to the Philippines every 2 months for many different reasons, from charity to my mom, who suffered a stroke about 2 years ago, to help her out. So what qualifies me to be up here? I don't know. Para and June asked me to. That's what they did. So that's what qualifies me. So let me tell you some fun stories about me that you can't find on Google. At the age of 4, I started cooking my own breakfast. I weigh 260 pounds. I do. You want to see my legs? Hold on. My mom told me that I'd make great crispy pata one day. You know, at the age of 10, I was still wetting beds. And I know a lot of our kids did that, but I took the chance to answer an ad in a newspaper to get the shock therapy, you know, the old Pavlov theory. Well, they put this metal thing underneath my butt, and when I peed on it, it would shock my ass, turn on a light, and turn on an alarm. My brothers thought it was real funny because they would put a spoon on that pad and just wake me up in the middle of the night with my mom going, "Robert, Robert, Robert, you're peeing, get up!" No, not funny. You could read more about me on the page there, so I'm going to skip other stuff there. I graduated from high school from Coronado. I was 5th in the class in academics. I was BMOC, graduated 4.3, senior class president, homecoming king, blah, 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 blah. But my first year in college, I was on academic probation. Remember Barry? Yeah. I started off with a 1.8 as a freshman. So those of you that are like 2.8s and 3.0s, you'll do okay. I graduated at UCSD with a 3.2. So I told you about Barry. Let's see what else. I worked for a lot of stuff. One of my famous claims to fame is in General Dynamics, which created the Tomahawk cruise missile. I developed a couple areas in mathematics because that's what my undergrad is, to help do the navigation systems, the firing sequences, as well as the anti-jamming for some of the ground-to-missile air cruise missions. Later on, I went to work for TRW as a spook. Some of you might know what a spook is. That means a spy. God, you're gorgeous. You should come up to me afterwards. For my son. No, you, right there in the red dress. No, she turned around. Her, yeah, thank you. You, the smile. Then I joined a company called Qualcomm because I got a conscience. I was employee 200. I retired in 1999, making my first several $1 million thanks to stock options. Then I was bored. I started up another company. Unfortunately, I went through a divorce at the same time. Started up another company, sold that in 2006 for $52 million. After that, my wife said, get a job, because I was 46 years old. I was being stupid. I was playing semi-pro football at the age of 46. And see this leg? See those scars on them? 200 stitches from pulling my muscle. So my wife said, this retirement stuff's going to kill you, so get a job. So I got a job. And now I'm CEO of Global Tel Media, which operates in 160 countries around the world, has offices in the Philippines, India, Mexico, Brazil, and the United States, soon to open in China, Korea, and anywhere else that will take me. What's the point of my story? The point of my story is, my life is like everyone else's. We've all had trials and tribulations. We've all had problems. We've all had up and downs. But something we all share in common here are two things. We live two different lives. We live lives as Filipino Americans, and we live lives as American Filipinos. For you to be successful in business, you have to be an American Filipino. I say that strongly, my friends, because the United States is tough to do business in. We're measured for fiduciary responsibilities. We're measured against investors' needs. We have laws and governance that manage everything we do. To be successful as a Filipino in the United States, you have to operate above the board. You have to have the highest morals and ethics of anyone around. Because think about it, my friends. When you hear the word Filipino, what do you think of?